Detectives are hoping to receive medical clearance today to question a 38-year-old woman about the circumstances in which Matthew Healy died in the early hours of Friday morning. I'm joined on the line now by Conor Lally, security and crime editor with the Irish Times. Conor, good morning.
Good morning, Pat.
First of all, what do we know definitively about what happened to the poor boy?
Well, I suppose a lot of the questions that we have aren't really answered at this stage, Pat. The woman who was detained, as you say, in the early hours of last Friday morning, she has been undergoing checks and treatment really since then, so she hasn't been interviewed by the Gardaí. But certainly what we know is that she raised the alarm at the scene. This was at Rathmoylan Cove near Dunmore East. And this whole incident really unfolded, very late Thursday night into the early hours of Friday morning. It appears the woman raised the alarm by calling to houses nearby. Obviously, one of the people that she called to became quite concerned. They rang the Gardaí. And then Gardaí and paramedics arrived on the scene pretty quickly. This is about 20 kilometres from Waterford city. Now, when the guards and the paramedics arrived on the scene, Matthew was in the backseat of a car which was parked in the area. He was unresponsive at the time, and the paramedics, worked on him for a period of time. But very sadly, he was pronounced dead at the scene. The woman who had called to the houses about, half an hour to an hour earlier, she was located close by. She was spoken to by Gardaí, and she was detained at the scene. Now, once she'd been taken into Garda custody, she was really then, checked over by doctors, and she has been undergoing treatment since then. So the guards investigating the case haven't had an opportunity to interview her yet. She can still be questioned for up to 24 hours without charge. And as you said there earlier, those Gardaí are hoping that she will be available to them as early as today to be questioned. But certainly the line of inquiry is that foul play was a factor in the boy's death, and that he died of suffocation possibly, or something similar.
There were reports that he was in the back of the car and that his clothing was wet. Is there any suggestion that he had been in the sea?
Well, that's really what the guards are trying to establish. They're trying to establish whether Matthew had been in the sea at some point before the alarm was raised, and also if this 38-year-old woman had as well. She was in a distressed state at the scene, and one avenue of inquiry here is examining her background, her personal life, anything that she'd been through in recent times, just to see is there anything there that would inform the Garda inquiry into how the boy died. But certainly at this stage, as I say, the Gardaí are waiting to interview her, and I think once they can put questions to her and get answers from her, they will have more at that stage.
There must be devastation in the area, and I'm sure in the school that Matthew attended, age 6, just the beginning of his school life, really.
Absolutely. He attended Faithleg Primary School in Waterford, and psychologists will be on hand today to obviously, help the children in his class, the children in his year, through this very horrific incident. He also played for an under-7s soccer team in the area. And they said he was a really popular player, and they're obviously very shocked. A team called Park Rangers, their games were all cancelled at the weekend, and really what you have here is, I suppose, Pat, is just the really tragic case of a 6-year-old boy who's died in awful circumstances, and the fallout there for all his pals, his family, his father, and so on, and his parents and his grandparents and wider family. So really, it's just an absolutely tragic case. I think everybody tuning in will have seen the pictures of the boy that have been carried in the media. Just this really cute 6-year-old kid in his school uniform, and I suppose when you see those images, it just really hammers home the sheer scale of the tragedy here.
Conor, thank you very much for joining us. Conor Lally is security and crime editor with the Irish Times.